Hello guys, thanks for joining this session. In this session, we are going to look into fragments. So let's start our discussion. So what is fragment? So as we all aware that React implementation is inspired from the DOM. So that means it is a hierarchical structure. And whenever we work with React, then we are returning a single div element which contains all the other child elements within the project. But sometime in our project, while designing the component, we don't want to group the element as well as the component in a div tag, and along with that we also want to React syntax should be intact. So to handle such situation where we want to group the React element without using div, then fragment comes into picture. So let's understand this with an example. So to demonstrate this thing, I am going to create a component folder. Select the component folder, select this icon, and over here we will tell that fragment example, and this will contain a file fragment example.js, and this time we will generate the functional component with rfc snippet, and over here we will specify some text like react step by step. So far so good. Save it. We will put this component in app.js, and over here we will specify fragment example. We will close it, save this. Let's jump into the browser to see the output. So here you will find that we are getting React step by step. Now let's proceed further. So now what I want in the fragment example, I'm going to add some other element, like I want it over here. Let me remove this div tag, and over here I want should be h1 tag, and this text will go inside the h1 tag. Put it over here, delete this one, put a parenthesis, and within that I am going to introduce some other element as well. Paragraph element I want to introduce, and I will tell that let's learn step by step every concept. So over here you will find that broke the rule of React, that is every element should be grouped into a single element. So that's the reason you will find that it is throwing an error over here. But prior to resolving this issue, we have to understand that what error it throws. So let's hover over here. Then you will find that JSX expression must have one parent element. So this is the rule of React. Whenever we are returning any of the element, it should be returned as an hierarchy. So now let's save it and let's look into the error which React throws. So over here also it is saying that adjacent JSX element must be wrapped in an enclosing tag. So let's do it the same which React is telling. So what we will do, first we will enclose these tags within a div, and then we will look into what kind of DOM structure is being created by React. So let's do it. Here I will mention div and take this closing div and put it over here. Save it. Now we will go to the browser to see the output. So over here, the look wise there is no changes, and if you go inside that, if you click on inspect, then you will find that within the div which is inside the app, it contains another div, and within that we are having h1 and p tag. So what I feel that this div is not required, as it is just get inserted due to the React rules, and this div I want to avoid it. So how I can do this so that React will not add another DOM element which is not required. So to achieve this, React offers us fragment. So let's look into the example how we are going to use the fragment. So let's jump into the Visual Studio Code. So over here what we need to do, we will remove these div tag as it is not required, and over here we need to specify fragment, and the moment you will add fragment, see your auto import gets inserted this input option fragment, and you will close this one and grab the ending tag and put it over here. Save it. Now let's jump into the browser to see the difference. Output wise there is no difference, but the moment if you click on inspect, then you will find that there is no extra div tag which was gets inserted in the earlier example. But when we inserted the fragment, then you will find that that fragment helps us to avoid the extra div tag within the DOM. So now let's proceed further. So now we have understand that what is the usage of fragment. So on this note, I am stopping over here, and this is what I wanted to demonstrate you in this session. See you in the next session. Till then, bye bye, take care.